Okay, so completing this square stuff we just finished doing. Okay, now we're gonna do one thing different. So in this case, instead of having a y equals, we have a 0. Y is just gonna be 0. Okay, but we're gonna follow the same process we did. We just did this. Remember when we completed the square to change from general to standard? Okay, so here we go. The first step is move that. Okay, so the first step is to move that. Okay, same thing. Second step, we're going to create our own trinomial. Okay, do you remember doing this? Our own trinomial. What do we want that trinomial to end with? Do you remember you got to do two things in your head? Divide by 2 and square it. So it's going to be a 4. 4 divided by 2, 2 squared is 4. Okay, what happened? We created that. It didn't exist, so we upset it the teeter-totter. So now we're going to have to add 4. Okay, the point of that trinomial is that I can do this. What squared produces that trinomial? X plus 2. Okay, so normally we did this last time and we would have had a y minus 17. That's the only difference we had last time. Okay, so now we're going to add stuff here. I want to isolate x because that's what I want. I want to figure out what does x actually equal. Okay, so my first algebra step is I'm going to square root both sides. So what happens when you square root a square? You don't actually need calculators at all. What happens when you square root a square? Does that make sense in math? Square rooting a square, they're opposite, they cancel, and you get x plus 2. Just tell me, does square root of 17 become nice or decimal? Decimal. So I don't want it. I'm going to leave it as the square root of 17. But what have we learned about something like this? What's the answer to this? Five is not the full answer. Plus or minus 5. So, plus or minus 17. And then one last thing to get x alone. Okay, so normally I want you to just leave it, and that would be your answer. What if on a test, hint, hint, I made you check your answer to see if it's going to be the same if you use the quadratic formula? Okay, so what if I wanted to check? Let's see if the quadratic formula turns out to be the same. Okay, x equals negative b, so negative 4, plus minus the square root of b squared, so 16, subtract 4 bracket 1 bracket negative 13, all over 2 bracket 1. So in my calculator, I'm just doing this underneath stuff, which is called this discriminant. So 16 subtract 4 times 1 times negative 13 is the root of 68. So negative 4 plus root 68 would get divided by 2. Or negative 4 minus the root of 68 would get divided by 2. Okay, and I'm writing it like this because that's what I'm actually doing in my calculator, exactly like that. Okay, so why don't you see if you can get some decimals here? Are we looking the same? This is okay? So that's what we did yesterday. Now, does that match? So let's turn this into a decimal just to see if it matches. Normally I would just get you to stop there. Can you type this into your calculator? Root 17 minus 2. And then can you go negative root 17 minus 2? And do those two answers match those two answers? Did you get a 2.12? So on your test, I might have a question that kind of makes you connect them all together. Do all methods that you try, do they all match? Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so x squared minus 10x, and I'm going to leave some room here, and then I'm going to move. I moved the 7. Okay, I only did one thing, but I'm kind of setting myself up some space there, right? Okay, you need to finish that trinomial with a divide by 2 and square. Do you put 25? Okay, teeter-totter is a 25. Okay, can you turn the trinomial into a binomial square? So did you write x minus 5 squared? Right? Because it has to double to 10 and square to 25. And that should be 32. Okay, now I'm going to work to get x alone. Do you understand why I have to square root before I add 5? Okay, because the 5's stuck in there. I can't get rid of it until this is gone. So square root gets rid of the square. So just the x minus 5. Okay, you can't forget, or you'll lose half a point, that could be a plus minus. And then one more piece of algebra. Okay, what if I did this to you on a test? Kind of draw me a sketch. Okay, so if I was to do this as a sketch, root 32 plus 5 is 10.66. And negative root 32 plus 5 is negative 0.66. So what do I know about the graph? What kind of shape is that? A parabola, right? What kind of direction is it going? The up U or the flipped? This is just heading up. So this is what I know. It's going to cross here at 10.66 and here at negative 0.66. Okay, so if I ask you to show me a sketch of your answer, that's what I'm looking for. It's just, where is this parabola crossing? Where are the x-intercepts? That's what this is all about. Okay, on your test and on your practices, I'm going to skip these ones. So I'm just going to ask you to do these ones, which are simple. This is a simple, right? And then when you see ones that are 4x squared, like something x squared, I'm just going to say that's good. Let's just do these. I won't put the harder ones on the test. So just that would be the easier one.